One.
All right, so Jay, to wrap it up, going back to the NBA, we had a bought-out free agent signing in the NBA of some notoriety.
Yeah, this was a big one. I would have never expected it to actually go down, but yeah.
Yep, and that is former All-Star Blake Griffin has chosen to sign with the Brooklyn Nets of the Eastern Conference, joining the number 2 seed in the East, who boasts Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. He will join this star-studded team as well. So, in knowing that, part of what the Brooklyn Nets needed was your favorite size and length and strength.
That's actually your thing.
You repeatedly remind me.
That's your thing.
That's what you appreciate.
That's your thing.
Does Blake Griffin feel a need for the Nets, or how do you think he will do with the Nets? Either one.
Well, Jimmy, I'll tell you.
Maybe like pros and cons. I don't know.
Yeah, let's go with that. Pros and cons. So what's the pros of adding a Blake Griffin and the cons of them?
Yes.
To be honest, pros, there isn't any. Look, statistically this year, Blake Griffin has been awful.
Yes.
He is averaging 12 points a game, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Last year, what did Blake do? In the 18 games he actually played, 15, 4, and 3. The year before, 24. Put like this. As soon as he got to Detroit, 2018-19 was his best year. His last time he was an All-Star. That's when he really showed out. When he went after being traded by the Clippers. And I feel bad for him for that. But Blake is a shell. And he's starting to hit that point where he's hitting that rapid decline. Because the best part about him is athleticism. I remember Charles Barkley said this about him. And if anybody knows this, I think Charles would know this about a player. Barkley said that Blake Griffin can be the best power forward in NBA history when he learns how to play basketball. And his point behind it is that Blake is really good as an athlete, athleticism. He's one of a kind, but that's all he feels like he does. That's it. That's his game. And he, of course, complained about his flopping and all the other stuff, but he doesn't think he's a good player. He points out all the bad stuff that he does, and I think that Barkley is probably the best assessor of that, is because Barkley could have been the greatest power forward to ever play the game if he ever really learned how to play basketball at the highest level that he could have. Because Barkley was too busy chilling, getting $20,000 gifts from Jordan and then not really playing defense in the finals.
Because he's my friend.
Yeah, because they're friends. But Charles Barkley could have won championships if he focused more on all of the fundamentals. And I think he regrets that. It feels like it. But he's right. He could be the best of any power forward ever, best passer among ever, if he learned how he did the rest of the game. Mm-hmm. So I think pros-wise, there ain't none. Mm-hmm. What you think?
Totally disagree. We've been disagreeing a lot on the show. This is fun.
Great. I love it.
I see...
Bring me more.
3 pros, and I see 1 con.
Okay.
Pro. This isn't going to matter to you, but it matters to me. You keep him off of another Eastern Conference playoff team where that could potentially come back to bite you at precisely the wrong time. Because they weren't the only ones who would be interested in the services of Blake Griffin. So by getting him in, teams do this to keep them off of somewhere else, out of some other team. They keep him off of another Eastern Conference playoff team. So to me, that's a pro. That's a bit of a chess move. Not a major one, but it is a chess move by the Nets. Pro, you help with scoring off the bench. Now, because of how you can stagger your stars, it's not as big of a deal. But since he's there, that gives you a little bit more scoring off the bench. So let's say in your second unit, you have James Harden or Kyrie running the point, and then you have Blake Griffin there, who isn't what he used to be, obviously, but can still catch some lobs. He can do something. Okay? I don't know what, but he can do something. But still, that gives you a little bit more scoring off the bench. And another pro is you're getting a Blake Griffin who is more motivated and happier than he's ever been. Happier to be out of the armpit of the NBA, which is Detroit. He lost hope there. He had nothing to play for. He didn't believe anymore. So getting him off of that team where it seems like careers go to die now to a team that can verifiably win a championship this season, that will boost his happiness and his motivation with where he is at. So those are the three pros I see with Blake Griffin, and I think 3 pros that they took into consideration when bringing him in. Con, what the Brooklyn Nets needed was, again, going back to what you appreciate so much, they needed strength in the paint. They needed rebounding. They needed block shots, what they gave up in Jared Allen in order to help bring over James Harden. That's what they need. He isn't exactly good. That's never truly been his game of being able to be an elite rebounder. I mean, he was a good rebounder, but not an elite rebounder, and definitely not an elite shot blocker, which is surprising given how super athletic he was. So bringing him in doesn't feel the need that you truly had available of needing that presence in the paint. So to me, that's the biggest con. And because of that one con, I think that one con does trump the 3 pros that I mentioned, because it doesn't feel the need that they need it the most. Therefore, they should not have made this move.
So you think that adding Blake on the bench gives them scoring power?
A little bit more scoring power off the bench, yes.
Blake is averaging 31 minutes a game and 12 points. Where in the hell those points going to come from?
I'm telling you what they're thinking.
Oh, no, I know what they're thinking. They got him because they know that they can't play defense, so they need to just add more points.
Yeah, that too. He's never been an elite defender.
So where's the positives here? That's why I said there's no pros to adding him. You need defenders.
Those are positives.
No, it's not.
To me, those positives don't trump the positives don't trump the con that I mentioned. And I wouldn't have made this move, but that still doesn't mean that they're not positives.
Jimmy.
Yes.
Kevin Durant's out with a hamstring problem.
True.
Soft tissue. Usually means something to do with conditioning, and he's probably going to be missing a lot more time with that.
Okay, got it.
When's the last time Kyrie finished the playoff series?
I don't know.
Right. James Harden, tank.
Can't depend on him.
He's a tank, but he will be on the court. You may not be able to depend on him on the court,
not in the playoffs.
But he will be on the court. Mm-hmm. Blake has been hurt the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. Actually, he's been hurt since 2017 for the most part. 33 games, 25 games. Jesus Christ. Let me see. No, I'm sorry. 33-25, that was that same season. So he played 58 games when he was between the Clippers and the Pistons. 58 the year before, 61 before, 35 the year before. He's been on this very sharply, and it's continuously going down. I mean, 2018-19 when he was an All-Star was the last time he actually played a big season. He played 75 games.
Okay.
Is he going to stay healthy? Is he going to be healthy enough to even make it through the rest of the year?
If they load manage his minutes, yes. Yes.
Okay. You think that he's going to be able to match up against Philly?
I didn't say anything about that. You asked me if he's going to.
Pros and cons. So I get you.
Match up against who on Philly? And don't even mention Embiid's name.
That's who he's going to have to match up with.
Well, that's DJ's job. He's not going to be able to do that. Which there's another pro there. He gets to reunite with DeAndre Jordan, who
from the Clippers. When they locked him into the house or something to keep him from going to Dallas. Man, Blake Griffin is now at the point of his career where he's a complete shell. 12 points, Jimmy.
I want to see
15.
I want to see
12.
what he brings. I want to see what he looks like in Brooklyn. See, because I don't know if that's so much because he's a shell of himself or because again he had just lost hope and motivation in Detroit, place he wasn't even supposed to be because they hung my jersey up
to retire. Yeah, they disrespected
they shipped me off to ice cold Detroit,
which was just so disrespectful.
If he averages under 10 points a game. Let's say he gets at least 20 minutes off the bench, 10 points a game, then I will agree that he's a shell of his former self, and he's going to have to retire in a year or two. But if he's able to average 12 points off the bench for them in 20 to 25 minutes, I will say that he's still got some juice left, and he can somehow help them in the playoffs.
I don't know. That's where the shell of himself comes in for me. Is most of his game is his athleticism, and he's not shooting very well. He's shooting at 36%. Ill. Shooting 31% from 3 at 6 attempts a game. Ill. That's where we have issues with it. And the one thing that everybody's getting excited about this is like, oh, the rich getting richer with this. Oh, they got another star name. We're forgetting that the name has to also be attached to numbers. Those numbers aren't there. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not producing anything in his numbers close to what he's ever done before. He's averaging only 5 rebounds a game. That's getting low compared to what he's used to having. I mean, actually, that's the second lowest of his career, which last year was the lowest at 4.7. Now he's at 5.2. So he's usually at the 6, 7, 8 range on a consistent basis. This is where you're going to have a problem with him. He's not going to put up the numbers you want him to put up or you think he's going to put up because this isn't his role anymore. And you got 3 guys that shoot a lot.
I mean, but those 3 guys, this is obviously the best team that he's ever played for. I mean, I know they had some good teams back when he was with the Clippers, but this might elevate him to get more out of his body than he would anywhere else or a few other places. So I think you got to give him a chance first. I don't want to write him off as he's broken, he's finished, he can't contribute anything. I want to see him for at least 15 to 20 games and see how he matches up to those numbers that I mentioned earlier before I completely write him off. Because being in a new environment, that can just transform everything about your approach.
It rejuvenate you, kind of like it did when he got sent to Detroit. Best place for him to go.
Nothing rejuvenating about Detroit.
Valid point. His best option, honestly, the Lakers were probably the best place for him to go. And he'd play right now. Yeah. He would probably be in the starting lineup.
I can see that.
That would have been.
Do you think I saw a rumor about this. Do you think there's a chance that Andre Drummond goes to the Lakers?
If he gets bought out, he is headed to the Lakers. There's nowhere else for him to go.
Now with him, they got a chance against Brooklyn.
That's different because Andre Drummond is still putting up Andre Drummond numbers and he's still playing defense.
He's still 2020 guy.
He's still doing it. He's still doing it in comparison to where Blake Griffin is 31 years old and he is no longer.